What if I told you that the cells in your body are the truest expression of who you are? Yes, that's right. The cells that make up your entire living human body, the biology, the neurology, and everything that happens within your central nervous system. Why am I talking about that? Because, as you may know, some of you have been following along, that I got shingles. And that virus lives in your central nervous system. But if I actually paid attention to what's going on at the cellular level of my body on a daily basis, my life would change. And I know it has simply by getting this beautiful opportunity to look into the cells in my body to understand the truest version of me. I want you to learn what I've learned so that you can continue to rise in all areas of your life, but especially in expressing the truest version of who you are. Listen up. I'm so abundantly grateful that I got shingles. I know you're thinking, are you crazy? No, I'm actually quite sane. And I know that I did not take the shingles vaccination for a reason. Now, let me just go right away and tell you this. I am not telling you to not take the shingles vaccination. I am telling you that the reason why I did not take the shingles vaccine is because I knew my body was pretty healthy. And I understood that if that did come to me, that means that my stress is way too high and my immune system is being compromised. Wouldn't I want to know more? Now, of course, I wasn't like thinking about that at that strategic level, but I was thinking I'm pretty healthy. So why would shingles come to me? But it did. And what it has done for me, it has quantifiably changed my life. There is a supernatural transformation that is happening within me that is so powerful that I knew on a logical level before getting shingles. But now that I have had this virus waken inside of my body, it's given me a newfound desire to gain knowledge and to apply that knowledge in an area that is going to substantially change my life. And if you pay attention to today's episode, it's going to substantially change your life, not only just from a health perspective, but also from a relational perspective, because you're going to have ease in the way that you communicate with people. And it's going to profoundly change the way you look at your work. So, everything that we talk about here in the Rise with Diana community is all about helping specifically women leaders know how to use their authentic power to rise and speak up in their truth in all areas of their life. What better way to learn this than to look at your cells and what makes up your cells and why it's so important to understand it? So, I have to give you what I've been reading. And as you know, we give you on YouTube, we give once a week, we give you what we share within our Rise 53 Inner Circle. This is a paid weekly subscription that allows our newsletter readers to dive into the material like what I'm sharing with you right now and giving you some coaching suggestions, all for a low cost monthly fee that it's crazy how much it's not doesn't cost that much, and the value that you get from it. Yeah, you get these weekly newsletters, but you also get an opportunity to connect every single week with the community via Zoom. So, what I want to share with you first, we're going to talk about the book that I have gone back to. It's called Becoming Supernatural. And this is by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and how common people are doing the uncommon. Now, I'm going to set this book up for you in less than 2 minutes. This book is really helping people like you and me learn how to gain control of our mind and our cells and our body in a way that allows us to do supernatural things by connecting to what's called a universal power. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza does not use faith or religion to tie into this type of understanding. He simply calls it this universal power, this universal source that allows us to be able to connect to it. And he predominantly used the power of meditation to help us do that. Now, I want to share with you that this book breaks down the science of meditation and how we are all waves. We are all energy waves that flow through our bodies. We have these, I like to call, not just me, but he calls energy circles. There are 7 of them, 8 of them, and they are areas that we can tap into to create more energy in our bodies that help healing begin. But the most profound thing that he really teaches us is that we will live the same life over and over and over again, repeating the same habits day after day after day, never changing, and we will get the same results that we've had. So, for those of you who've had to deal with some sort of episode, some dis-ease episode, and you've gone the medical science route where you've either taken a pill or you've done some sort of intervention, then certainly there's going to have impact. But don't get it twisted. You are still living with the same patterns and the same things that you've done before you got that disease. And Dr. Joe Dispenza really expresses to us all that we cannot be the same person doing the same things and expecting a different result. We have to go through a shift. And he proves it at the scientific level that when we choose to become more supernatural, we choose to invest the time needed for us to not become the same person through meditation, our lives change. Now, that's just a 2.5, okay, I went 3-minute version of becoming supernatural. But this is a book that I highly recommend that you pick up, because it is a book that is going to change your life if you choose, because there's a lot of work that's needed to become a new person, to know that there are opportunities beyond what it is that you see in your daily life. And what I know is that when I start to see that my cellular body, the cells that make up my body, are working in accordance to the habits, the thoughts, and the feelings that I've given it. And until I choose to peek under the hood, right, to see inside of my body, will I begin to know what those habits are, what those thoughts are, and what those feelings are, and how they create chemical reactions that actually shift my autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is something that happens automatically. Our blood pressure, our heartbeats, our food digest, we are able to create hormonal responses within our bodies. But typically, a lot of us are living by the hormones of stress, and we are emitting chemicals that are causing our bodies to break down. This is what I mean by understanding that the truest version of yourself lives within your cells. And until you begin to understand yourself at the cellular level and how you are neurologically transmitting messages within your body that do not allow you to live the best expression of yourself, will you live the best part of your life? And so I want you to understand that there are things that we are going to have to do to change. So since I got shingles, and I want to I broke it down in my last video, and I'm not going to go too deep here, but shingles is from this virus that comes from chickenpox. And for a lot of us who are over 50, we've had, at least by the by the recording of this message, which is in 2025, there have been substantial shifts in medical science that have allowed people to get the chickenpox vaccination, which disallows you to have chickenpox. But this virus actually nestles itself into your nervous system. And when you get chickenpox, it expresses itself through the body and breaking out the skin into these very itchy skin, and which causes these blisters, which then scab over and then they heal. But the problem is that that virus never leaves your body, because it then goes into your nerves. It stays dormant in your body until some sort of stress response or immune compromise happens within your body, and then it comes alive. But this time it actually goes through the nerves in your body, expresses itself on the skin, this time not causing an itchy sensation, but blistering the body, right? Causing the body to blister, and then those blisters go away, scab over. But in some cases, they this results in what's called post-therapeutic neuralgia. And that's what I got. And that means that your nerves are damaged. They go through this irregular process and it causes immense pain, burning, throbbing, stinging, and this sensation that is quite uncomfortable. That's what happened to you, girl. And you say, oh, and you're still grateful that you got shingles? Absolutely. Because if I did not, I would not know the depths of what's going on at the cellular level of my body. You see, The Body Keeps the Score, which is another book that's by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, Kolk. And that book talks about how your body will repeat various narratives, and those narratives will live deep within your neurology. And so, as you all know or don't know, that I didn't come to this space just on, like riding some easy bus. My bus was a little bit rocky and it was filled with trauma as a child. And I have been spending my adult life learning methodologies and implementing protocols to help me live a life of ease. But at the cellular level, though, in my body, there are these stories that I've been trying to uproot, literally at the root. And when the stress started coming in my body, I didn't realize I was defaulting back to an old program, which is what Dr. Joe Dispenza says, is that often we default back to old programs, either because we're not being aware of it or we're living by the operation of a survival method. And that's what I started to do this year in 2025. I wasn't going to speak at a protest. I said I was, and then I wasn't. And a lot of other issues were going on, and I believe was the foundation of a stress response. And the hormones started developing my body. Of course, I was dealing with menopause. All of that resulted in shingles. So, the antidote to this is really learning about my cellular makeup, understanding what's going on at the cells, and how can I train my mind? How can I train my body that I'm not going to operate with the same programs that I had before? I have to get a new program. And it's no different than a computer, right? If you're trying to do an upgrade based on an old computer, it's not going to work. And so you've got to switch the programs and you've got to do this. And the thing is that doesn't just happen overnight. This is something that you have to practice. And Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this at such a clear level because he uses science. And again, I can't go into all the details. And I just really, really encourage you to pick up this book because it's something that you need to educate yourself. I mean, I could do a whole year just on this alone. It's going to substantially change your life. But I really want you to know that we've got to, in our meditations, learn what it's like to actually live in the present moment. Learn what it's like to actually take our mind off of our problems, people, places, and things, and start to connect to this universal body of knowledge and knowing. And then we've got to understand how that will help our bodies shift. Now, as you may know that I come from a deeply religious background. I am a Christ follower. I do know the Bible, and I do know that the scriptures, at least for me, have been really powerful in my life, but yet I haven't truly practiced that at a cellular level. And so, what this new learning is doing for me is helping me practice what it is that I already believe. I already believe that I can have a supernatural healing. I already believe that there is a powerful force that is able and capable of giving me peace that I can't even describe. There is a power that's able to help me see a new mind, not reprogram or try to fix what's already been done, to forgive the past, stop worrying about the future, and live in the present moment. Is this something that you believe? Because if you do believe that and you do start to practice the things that are inside Dr. Joe Dispenza's book and what we've outlined in our newsletter, your life will substantially change and you will live the truest version of yourself. A lot of us are walking around here because we don't believe that we are capable and worthy of change. We don't believe it. And as a result, my people perish. I mean, there's a scripture that talk about that. People perish because of lack of knowledge. Who knew that I would need to know that the truest version of myself that gives me peace or it gives me dis-ease is living within me. It's in my cells. And you are, as a human, inherited with peace within you. I mean, we talked about before about you don't have to manufacture peace. Peace already is in you, not what the world gives you. The peace the world gives you is going to be erratic and incoherent. But the peace that God gives you and the peace that Dr. Joe Dispenza says comes from the source of all truth, of all knowing, is already inside of you. You just need to tap into that on a daily basis. So I want to give you what we've outlined in this week's email, and I'm pick up my laptop and I'm going to outline for you some of the steps. We're not going into a deep meditation. We're going to do that actually within the Rise 53 Inner Circle. But this week, this is what we shared with our newsletter readers, some of the things that they can begin doing for them to shift their narrative. So what we outlined is this week's 3 cellular peace practices. The first, tell your nervous system the truth. And what we mean by that is, what truth are you going to acknowledge that your body already knows? See, your nervous system is picking up on the truth that you are avoiding. So if you start every day and you starting to see what kind of gives you this feeling of unease or dis-ease. Once you start tapping into that and slowing down enough, your body will begin to talk to you. The second thing we are sharing with our newsletter readers is to break one piece of your daily routine, right? So brush your teeth with the opposite hand, right? Because we're trying to break the cycle. We're giving you simple things to break the monotony that you've been doing every single day. Sit in a different chair. Like if you go into a meeting or for me, I sit on the same side of the couch every single time. So I'm sitting in different side of the couch. Shift one micro habit every single day. Instead of actually making coffee first thing in the morning time, I wait and make it later. So these tiny disruptions tell the brain we're not repeating what we did yesterday. Powerful. Okay, because this is what we're trying to do. And then the third thing is, don't start your day until you feel like your ideal self. Not think, not hope, not wish, feel. Like some of us, we just say, I don't have time to feel good. We just choose to never, ever feel good. I had a person within one of my sessions and I asked her, I said, what does it feel like to feel peaceful inside of your body? And she said, I have no idea. Wow. And so this is what we're talking about, is getting to the truest version of yourself and living with that. So the work that we're doing is not emotional, or not, your cells respond to emotion, not logic. So what you think is logical, your cells respond to emotion, which is really just your energy in motion. Emotion is your energy in motion. And so when we begin to tap into that, your life will change. So I want to share this with you because the greatest version of you that can show up today is one that is choosing to be tapped into your cells and your nervous system. Profound, right? This is so good. This is the real work. This is the shift that I know we all need. This is talked about in the Rise Advocates Academy. But now, since I've gone through this beautiful shift that has caused pain called Shingles, it's substantiated the point even more. Wow, that we have miraculous bodies. that our body can do so many things if we choose to see it that way. And I hope that you choose to see it this way. If you've gotten all the way to the end of this video, that means that you are a person who is trying to connect with yourself at a deeper level. We want to offer you ways that you can continue that. Of course, you can pay attention to our weekly YouTube videos and our podcasts that we publish. But I also want to invite you to join our weekly newsletter that we publish every single week. We have a free version. And of course, we have the Rise 53 Inner Circle, which is a paid version of coaching and messages. But we also have the deeper dive, and that's the Rise Advocates Academy that you can dive deeper. You can either join up in a cohort, and eventually we're going to be having this on Evergreen, and you can purchase it that way too. But all those links will be below. But the one thing I really hope that you choose to continue to do is get connected in a community like this. Get connected with people who are actually helping you increase your health and relationships and wealth potential. And that's everything that we stand for in the Rise Advocates movement. So, one, get on the newsletter, either paid or open. Join our Rise Advocates Academy and get in a cohort or join it. Eventually, we're going to have it evergreen. And there are other opportunities that we hope that you take advantage of as well that we'll list here in the caption. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And remember, the truest version of yourself lives in your cells.